Okay? Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Our gracious presence, each by name and title. Welcome. It's my honor to welcome you to Dar al-Kalima International, 26th International Land, People and Culture Conference. This conference actually hosts about 58 speakers from 22 different countries. And Rose Kendo, let me present myself. I'm Rose Kendo, the coordinator of this conference. Actually, this conference is a bundle of different presentations and integrations of 90 panels. They are distributed into 3 days, from the 2nd to the 4th of October. Just before the opening, I want to share you with some logistics. Each bundle of each package we have like a coding paper that include the code for Wi-Fi starts from tomorrow. And the second one is that include the program. You can check the programs at exactly which panel you are. Regarding the panels, you're going to have like 2 parallel panels for each session, and 2 sessions at 11 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday is going to be like 3 parallel sessions in 3 rooms. This is the first room, auditorium, and room 350 and room 540. We are going to put signs outside to take you to those rooms. And the fourth code, or QR code, is for the Ismail Shammout competition that's later on my colleague is going to present it. And also we have like evaluation code, which is the 5th. And also we have like a code to select the tour that's going to be on Tuesday after lunch. You are going to select which type of activity you would like to take part in. So you have time till tomorrow, let's say tomorrow noon till lunch, to select which activity you would like to do on Tuesday to arrange a tour for it. And for the opening, I would like to introduce my colleague, Ms. Rana Houri, the Vice President for Development at Dar al-Kalima University. Ms. Rana Houri has obtained her BA and MA degree from University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, specialized in modern Middle Eastern and Northern Africa studies. She also managed and founded several initiatives, including the Civic Engagement Program. Also, Ms. Rana Houri was also a Harvard University Fellow at Harvard Divinity School's Religion and Public Life program during the academic years from 2020 to 2022. So we'll be with Rana for the opening of this event.
Good evening, everyone. Your Excellencies, Grace, honorable guests, friends and partners, locals and internationals, and dear colleagues. Welcome to Dar al-Kalima University for the official launching of its 26th International Conference, Land, People and Culture. The conference is not an isolated initiative, and it's not organized in a vacuum. It is part of a scholarly tradition that DAC University have started more than 25 years ago. In specific, this conference builds upon the work of a series that was created back in 2005 that explored the topic shaping communities in times of crisis, narratives of land, peoples, and identities. In the little town of Bethlehem, and at this young institution of ours, scholarly, creative, artistic, learning endeavors are at play on a daily basis to analyze, narrate, communicate, create, build links, relationships, alliances, and engage in personal and collective imaginations for justice and freedom. The story of Palestine, with the loss of its land and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of people, almost half of the population, is a story that was echoed in other lands and among other peoples. This is why it is imperative that we all come together to examine closely how we have all been impacted by structures of displacement and oppression, structures such as settler colonial, racism, occupation, and other military activities, etc. But also, and this is where this conference takes us a step further, how our legacy and continued living in and of hope, resilience, resistance, sumud, a topic I'm very much interested in, which is the Palestinian indigenous lived philosophy, resilience, has made it not only possible to survive and persist, but to thrive against all. To help us to welcome all of you, I would like to invite Dr. Mitri Rahib, founder and president of Dar al-Kalima University, to the stage for his welcoming words. But before he gets on stage, allow me to introduce him with very few words. He actually took out many lines that I had in store for him, especially the jokes. Dr. Mitri Rahib holds a doctorate in theology from the Philipps University at Marburg, Germany. He is the most widely published Palestinian theologian to date. Dr. Rahib is the author and editor of more than 40 books. His latest is, it just came out a month ago, Decolonizing Palestine, the Land, the People, the Bible. His books and numerous articles have been translated into several languages. At least what we know of is 11. Dr. Rahib was elected in 2018 due to his critical role in the processes in our society to the Palestinian National Council and to the Palestinian Central Council. He is also a founding member and a board member of the National Library of Palestine and the founding member and author of Kairos, Palestine. Dr. Rahib received many awards. I will only mention one, which is in 2012, the prestigious German Media Prize. This award used to be given only to heads of states. So, for example, President Obama in 2016, Nelson Mandela in 1998, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Please, Dr. Rahib, come to stage to welcome us all.
Thank you, Rana, for this introduction. Actually, believe it or not, but Rana was the first staff person to start working with us back in 1994. I guess she was 8 years old at that time. And so I consider her to be actually a co-founder with a few other colleagues of this whole endeavor. Dear friends, Your Excellencies, Dr. Khulud Taibis, Dr. Muammar Shtewi from the Ministry of Higher Education and Research, my friend Rami Nashashibi from Iman Center in Chicago, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss, also from Chicago, Seattle Mutran, Your Grace Bishop Munib Yunan, الأستاذ بسام جبر مدير التربية في بيت لحم، الأستاذ فؤاد سالم من المحافظة، دكتور إلياس سعيد ممثل الشرطة في منطقة بيت لحم، ممثلين وزارة الثقافة، أهلا وسهلا بكم جميعا. So welcome everyone. Dear friends, it is such a pleasure and an honor to have each and every one of you at the opening of our 26th International Conference on Land, People, and Culture. Let me maybe start with just a few words about Dar al-Kalima University, since maybe I will not have any chance other than today to tell you something just quickly about our history. We started back in 1995, actually as a cultural and training center. This is when Rana actually started with us a year earlier. And we took the crypt of a church and we transformed it into this beautiful cultural center in Bethlehem. But the young people that we were training, they wanted more than just, a course here, a workshop there. So in 2006, we got the accreditation as a community college through the Ministry of Higher Education. This was not enough because students wanted to have BAs, bachelors, and so on. So we worked hard after 7 years to become a university college, which is a liberal art college in the US, offering BA degrees. And 2 years ago, actually, we became a full-fledged university, accredited through our good friend, Dr. Muhammad Shtewi. He's responsible for the accreditation. So he was the one basically at the end to give us the license to be a full-fledged university. So if you look at actually Dar al-Kalima University, I consider it to be a success story from Palestine. Sometimes in Palestine we lack success stories. We feel often, we are oppressed, we cannot reach the potential that God created us for. But here actually at Dar al-Kalima, we were able to show that yes, we can. Yes, we can. So imagine 15 years ago, nothing of all these buildings that you see here were here. So all of these buildings were created in these last 15 years. The Minister of Higher Education, who was supposed to be with us today, but he's in Iraq, we will miss him because he's a great supporter of our work. We have over 50 universities and colleges in Palestine, but Dar al-Kalima is the first and only university that is specialized, a specialized university focusing on art, culture, and design. This is all what we do. So we do biology or chemistry or whatever. And our vision that we chose 2006 is that we might have life and have it abundantly. Because living in a settler colonial context, every day we hear you will not have life, and definitely it's not going to be abundant. But this is why our vision is to focus on the culture of life rather than the culture of death. And our mission is to educate the next generation of creative leaders in Palestine and even beyond. We have also Middle Eastern programs. So focusing on young people, on the creative class, if you want, and to create creative industry. So, as you heard maybe from Rana, I'm a theologian. I write many books in theology. I'm involved in politics, but the university chose not to focus on theology nor in politics, but to choose art and culture as the tool for social transformations. And this is really has been our focus since 1995. The question is, why art and culture? Many people think art and culture might be like a luxury. It's not for people living under occupation. We maybe need to focus just on providing people with food. But no, we believe that people live not on food alone. Culture is an important component because it has to do with identity. It has to do with who we are. It has to do with our culture, our cultural heritage. But also, it's a new tool to communicate our story worldwide. Not through rhetorics, but through film, through music, through dance, through theater, through design. All our conferences, including this one, are interdisciplinary in nature, but this conference is really very unique. This conference was supposed actually to take place 2020, June. You know what happened? We were hit by the COVID. Why 2020? Because we were hoping to have this conference celebrating our 25th anniversary. So we started 95, and so we thought, 2020 would be really a good time to have such a great gathering. Unfortunately, COVID hit us. So we had to postpone it. We postponed it to this year, which is an important year as well, because this year we commemorate the 75th year of the Nakba. And maybe this is why we are focusing on settler colonialism in this conference. What we lost in 1948 was not only 77% of our land that our friends from abroad were able to visit during the last 2 days. But what we lost also, to some extent, is our narrative and story. We start forgetting who we are before the Nakba. Not just as displaced people, not just as refugees, but as people who had a culture, had deep roots in this land. And so we wanted to revive that. But this conference is also unique because it combines 4 events in one, which is, for our staff, I tell you, very challenging. So we have the conference on land, people and culture. We have our international festival, a performing art festival that actually was kicked off last Wednesday, and you will get later tonight just a feel of it, and hopefully on Monday and Tuesday you will be with us for that. We are hosting and actually overlapping with another important conference that is happening here on Black Jerusalem, actually organized by my good friend Ramina Shashibi. And there are 2 art exhibitions, one for young emerging local artists, which you are going to hear about in a moment, and another one by an international Czech artist. So we're bringing the local and the international, the global, together. We were glad that we were able to gather scholars from, I thought 25 universities. Rose said 32, so it's between 25 and 32. When I did the count, it was 25. And here you can see where our friends are coming from. You will notice one thing, that we were hoping to have more people from the Global South. Why we couldn't? Because many people did not get their visas. Because most of the friends here are from countries that they don't need visa to enter the country. And so many people actually were rejected when they went to the Israeli embassy, because Palestinian embassies are not allowed to give visas. So, but we have, thanks God, people from the global north who belong to the global south, many of them with us today. We are thrilled also to have people from 60 universities from all of these countries, scholars. Here you will have most of these universities. But we are here not just to mourn the past, but to celebrate the Palestinian resilience, the Palestinian sumud in face of the Israeli occupation and the global empire. Reverend Otis Moss spoke today about the global empire. So we are here actually also to celebrate our sumud as African American, as indigenous people, as native people, as Palestinian in the face of the occupation and the global empire. We hope that all the proceedings of this conference will be published as here we do it always, and so we look forward to see all your contribution printed. This is one of the largest conferences we were able to pull together. I mean, having like over 20 people from abroad is not something easy to do. This would not have been possible without a generous support from many partners, and I would like to name them. The Presidential Committee on Church Affairs, represented here by Dr. Khulud Daibes. Khulud, maybe if you would just stand for a, I think they deserve a big hand from us. The World Communion on Reformed Churches, represented by Muna Nassar, one of our Muna. Mona was on staff, and now she works in Germany. And the Presbyterian Church USA, Luciano, they deserve a big hand as well. The Margaret Casey Foundation, from the board member discretionary fund through our friend Ramina Shashibi. EMW from Germany and Ömer Bernd from Switzerland, who are not here. I tell you, in the last few weeks, if you came here to the university, you would have been like in a bee, with all the staff working hard to pull all of these great events together. And I would like to thank each and every one of them. I will not name them now. I will name them on the last day. So stay tuned, because they have still so much work to do. But really, without them, this would not have been possible. So thank you very much. They deserve the big, 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 big hand. Thank you for coming, for taking time to come to Palestine on this extraordinary conference and trip. I wish us all a fruitful, inspiring, and very engaging conference. Thank you.
The next segment, Dr. Rahib talked about some of the events that are happening simultaneously with the conference and the festival, and one of which is the Ismail Shammout Award in Fine Arts. As the first and only university in Palestine dedicated to the arts and culture, Dar al-Kalima University launched in 2015 the Ismail Shammout Award in recognition of Ismail Shammout, artist, and his critical artistic work, iconic status, and impact on Palestinian art and culture. Born in 1930, died in 2006. His productions of the different paintings actually tell the story of Palestine vividly and just creatively. So every year there is actually an award and a competition held in his name, and there is a specific theme selected and is open to all Palestinian young artists from everywhere in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, the Gaza Strip, Palestine 1948, and in the diaspora communities. This year's theme is Checkpoint 75, which commemorates the 75 years of Al-Nakba. To speak more about the competition, the award, and the finalists, including sharing their work, I would like to call upon my colleague, Manar Idrisi, the Dean of Student Affairs, for this part.
Good evening. The Ismail Shammout Award for Visual Arts, established in 2015 in Palestine to honor Ismail Shammout's legacy, encourages young people, artists, and emphasizes the role of art in society. Ismail Shammout, a prominent Palestinian artist, used his creativity to address the Nakba's impact and inspire hope in the face of oppression. The award, launched annually by Dar al-Kalima University, is titled Barrier 75, or Checkpoint, because, we had this discussion to name it Checkpoint or Barrier, but we end up with Barrier because it's wider than the meaning, wider than the checkpoint. So for this year, it's titled Barrier 75, marking the 75th year of the Nakba. It aims to continue Shammout's vision by addressing the barriers imposed by colonial settlement and promoting freedom, hope, and artistic awareness in Palestinian society. In this edition, 30 young artists under the age of 35 years have participated. 10 of them have been selected by a jury consisted of 6 artists from different Palestinian cities to participate in the exhibition, which you will have the chance to have a look at later. So, from the 30 applications, gender-wise, we had 8 males, 22 females. About the distribution, we had 1 from Jerusalem, 8 from Gaza, and 1 from the 48th occupied Palestinian lands, 20 from the West Bank. The jury, we had 6 artists from Gaza, Jerusalem, from Gaza, Golan, occupied Syrian lands, and also we had from the West Bank. Okay. Those are the artworks for the participants that we finally selected, 10 artworks. This artwork is for Ahmad Saadoun from Gaza, Isra Frihat from Bethlehem, Ala Talib from Jenin refugee camp, Al-Aziz Atif from Al-Arrub refugee camp, Rimi Ahmad from Jenin, Shayma Takruri from Nablus, Subhi Kuta from Gaza, Salah Lefrough from Ramallah, Fahid Shihab from Gaza, and Nadim Mazen from Jerusalem. Okay. Today we will have the opening for the Ismail Shammout exhibition, Barrier 75. On Wednesday, when we have the closing ceremony for the conference, we will announce the 3 winners. The first winner, we will receive $20,000 check, $20,000 check. Okay. Okay. The second will have 1,500, and the third 1,000. For this year, we decided to have only one jury that chose the 10 artists who participated in the exhibition, and also we decided that we take the rankings and make an equation like 70% from the jury, from the ranking is collected, and we open the space for the audience to vote for the winner. So you have 30% from the ranking to vote for your favorite artwork. As my colleague Rose said, you have the QR code for voting, which will open directly after we finish the opening, and we go to see the artworks. So you can start voting. Voting closed on Tuesday night, and then we will announce the winners on Wednesday. This is the QR code, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Manar. As a Palestinian university, we are deeply honored to have among us Dr. Muammar Shtewi, representing the Minister and Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. The ministry has been supportive of our work, recognizing the critical role that arts and culture can play in education. Dr. Shtewi is the head of the Accreditation and Quality Assurance Commission for Higher Education Institutions. Welcome, Dr. Shtewi, for the panel.
Good evening, everyone. Excuse me, I prepare my speech in Arabic language, but I think maybe you have a translation on screen. Okay, thank you. الأخ العزيز دكتور متري الراهب المحترم رئيس جامعة دار الكلمة، دكتورة خلود وأعضاء مجلس الأمناء، الكادر الأكاديمي في الجامعة، ممثلي الأجهزة وسيادة المطران، الكادر، الضيوف الأعزاء جميعا، أهلا وسهلا بكم، يسعد مساكم جميعا. اسمحوا لي إذا كان هذا اليوم هو حقا يوم الأرض، يوم الشعب والثقافة، وكما أطلق على هذا المؤتمر وهذا اللقاء تحت عنوان الأرض الشعب والثقافي، فلا أسعد اليوم من إدارتي وكادري وطلبتي ومجلس أمناء جامعة دار الكلمة، رواد الفن والثقافة في فلسطين. فاسمحوا لي ولهؤلاء كل الاحترام والتقدير، ودعونا نمنحهم جميعا تصفيقا حارا طويلا امتنانا وعرفانا. في هذا اليوم المميز، في هذا المؤتمر الدولي الجامع والذي يضع الثقافة بين أروقة الحكمة، ويكون لمؤسسات التعليم العالي هذا الدور الجديد، الدور الآخر غير التعليم والتعلم والبحث العلمي، أن يمتد إلى جوهر الوجود، وإلى السردية والرواية، وإلى الرواية الموضوعية، وإلى نسج العلاقة بين الأرض والشعب، هذا النسيج المعقد من التفاعلات، وتكون الثقافة نتاجا طبيعيا له. أيها الحضور المحترم، نحن هنا اليوم نتحدث عن قوة التظاهر والتلاحم بيننا، حيث تكمن جذورنا في هذه الأرض، ويشكل شعبنا وأصدقاؤه من كافة أنحاء العالم والمدافعين عن قضيته أروع عناصر ثراء ثقافتنا. بين يدينا وبين أيدينا مهمة المحافظة على هذا التراث وتطويره، لنبني مستقبلا يتسم بالازدهار والتفاعل الإيجابي. فلنعمل معا لنكون أبناء الأرض وحراس الثقافة، ليس فقط لليوم بل للأجيال القادمة. أخي متري ورفاق دربك في هذه الجامعة، الحقيقة أنني يجب أن أنقل لك تحيات معالي الوزير الذي يفتخر ويعتز هو وزارته بهذه الجامعة العظيمة، هذه الجامعة التخصصية الأولى في فلسطين، ونؤكد أن هناك تكامل في دوركم الوطني الذي انتقل إلى العالمية مع دور وتوجهات الحكومة في موضوع تعزيز الرواية الوطنية. ونتقدم بخالص الشكر والتقدير لجامعتكم على جهودها الرائعة في تنظيم هذا المؤتمر الهام الذي يعزز التواصل والفهم المتبادل بين أفراد المجتمع وبين المجتمع الفلسطيني والمجتمع العالمي كافة. إن لإسهاماتكم دور عظيم في بناء جسور التفاهم وتعزيز قيم التعاون. شكرا لتفانيكم وتفردكم في تنظيم فعاليات تعزز التواصل وإثراء المشهد الثقافي والاجتماعي، مع تمنياتي لمؤتمركم بالتوفيق والنجاح. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا دكتور. Next, it is truly an honor to have with us Dr. Rami Nashashibi. Dr. Nashashibi is a Palestinian-American activist, community organizer, sociologist, and Islamic studies scholar. He founded the nonprofit organization Inner City Muslim Action Network in 1997, working as its executive director for many years, and has been involved in a number of efforts to improve the conditions and welfare of residents of the South Side of Chicago. He has also worked as a sociologist and religious studies scholar at multiple universities and also as a musician. Dr. Nashashibi has claimed several awards and recognitions, including being a 2017 MacArthur Fellow for, and here I quote, confronting the challenges of poverty and disinvestment in urban communities through a Muslim-led civic engagement effort that bridges race, class, and religion. Please help me welcome Dr. Rami Nashashibi.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings be upon you. It is an extraordinary honor and privilege to be here in Bethlehem, this extraordinary city, at this extraordinary institution, under extraordinary circumstances. For some of you, it's been a very long several days. I know I could use another cup of coffee right now. However, I must say that I am coming onto this campus, and I want to especially now speak to my brothers and sisters that are coming from the United States, coming from across the globe. Some of us, particularly living in Western European countries, may take for granted the opportunity of coming in and out of universities for these conferences. In fact, some of us may get bored by certain types of conferences. Academic presentations and papers that are often very dry, often seem very theoretical and very unrelatable to the modern conditions on the ground. That is not the conference you are attending here today. That is certainly not the place that you are attending. Know for certain that coming into a university as beautiful as the one that you are attending, with the type of program that was put together under an Israeli military occupation by one of the most sophisticated military arsenals in the world, is nothing less than miraculous. Please give it up for Dar al-Kalima and Father Mitri and all the extraordinary staff and members that have made the next several days possible. It is an absolute surge of energy that certainly will compensate for the lack of caffeine. Let me say this. I am here with my extraordinary co-convener, the only, Dr. Reverend Otis Moss III, who you will hear from on Wednesday and who some of you heard today early in the sermon. I'm here with the organization Iman, and of course also an extraordinary Islamic graduate institution by the name of Bayan. We have Dr. Jihad Turk. Please give it up for him, who's also in the building. And you will hear from Jihad, inshallah, some of the words on Wednesday. Many of you were at the sermon this morning. And you heard Father Mitri talk beautifully and poetically about where we are and what we are, the conditions through which we can aspire towards a more free, united, integrated vision of what a city like Jerusalem can represent for all of us. And some of you heard our dear beloved brother, Dr. Reverend Otis Moss, talk about empire and resistance to colonialism. We just came from Sheikh Jarrah, a neighborhood that my father grew up in, that my great-grandfather grew up in, and Nashashibi's going all the way back to Salahuddin Ayyubi grew up in. The neighborhood, as you know, is named after the physician that attended to Salahuddin Ayyubi. We have deep roots. And in that neighborhood, among the things that I'm a proud resident, a proud person with deep roots in the neighborhood, a proud Jerusalemite with deep, deep love and affection to the city, are intellectual and cultural contributions of the likes of people like Edward Said, who wrote a way to think about casting off the residue of empire, which our dear beloved brother Otis Moss spoke so powerfully about. How do we cast off that residue of colonial occupation that so many of our lands have experienced, that so many of our people, whether we still live in colonialized nations, whether we live in the nations that precipitated that colonization, many of us still live with the residue, as Pastor Moss so powerfully spoke to. Edward Said's tactic was to begin to allow the West to see itself through the way it attempts to see us, to look at the works of Conrad and Heart of Darkness and to invert the lens and to be able to speak back to the narrative that often only speaks to us, to be able to elevate the voice of the colonized so that we can be heard, the voice of the voiceless. It's no coincidence that Edward Said's work stands today as perhaps the most translated text in modern 20th century history. It's no coincidence that his text precipitated an entire field in literary critical theory that led to critical race theory, that opened up an insightful way of understanding the world. Our journey here, Black Jerusalem, and we'll talk more about, is that type of intervention. And we'll talk about the reaction that some of those in the old city had to us as we walked around proudly with shirts declaring Black Jerusalem. When hai Black Jerusalem? Shu yani Black Jerusalem? What do you mean Black Jerusalem? We'll talk about that. A part of the inversion I hope that begins to happen in this conference is that we will begin to think more broadly, and I speak to my beautiful Palestinian brothers and sisters here in Bethlehem and across the world, to begin to think about how even here we can continue to cast off the residue of that colonial mindset. In other words, why are we in the Middle East? And why are we not in Northeast Africa right now? Let me ask the question again. Why, Mitri, is this the Middle East? Why do we continue to entertain this geographic colonial construct? And why can't we begin to radically reimagine the way the world can be configured and think about the different maps and geographic and ideational ways in which we can get connected? The Middle East is only a term, as we know, that was created by colonial cartographers in London to suggest that the entire world should think about their geography and proximity to the colonial headquarters of empire. Say no more to that type of mindset, and let us begin to embrace a type of vision that connects us to the people of the land here, to our First Nations people in America, to our First Nation people across the world. Let us reorient ourselves as Muslims, Jews, Christians, as human beings to the knowledge that can elevate us and allow us to see great things, as we so do in a university like this. Art, culture is a vehicle for extraordinary expression. As I talk now, I would like to bring a sister that I will introduce to the stage. Her name is Drea Denor. You could come, Drea, and assemble here. You heard her today. Some of you heard her today. Some of you will hear her for the first time. Now, I had the privilege of co-producing an album with Drea Denor called This Love Thing. She brought me on a musical, artistic, creative journey that I will never be the same for. And we will have the honor of sharing some of those works with you at the Wednesday night closing reception. Let me say this about Drea before she performs, and you can hear for yourself. She's not only an artist, she is a mother, she's an educator, she is a cultural mover and shaker. Throughout the last 3 years when we were making the album in the heart of the George Floyd uprisings, in the heart of police brutality, in the heart of certain extraordinary types of oppression in Buffalo. Drea fed the people. She fed the protesters. She put her arms around the community members. I walked with her in the streets of Buffalo. We protested down to the Capitol. She arranged some of the most extraordinary moments of resistance to police brutality in the city of Buffalo and helped to create a movement that led to the declaration of a certain type of law that mandated intervention for police brutality after the wake of George Floyd, named after a woman that is in this room called Carrio's Law. Carrio Horn, please stand up and please recognize this great activist warrior who has traveled all the way from Buffalo, New York to be with us in Bethlehem, Palestine. We dedicated the video of Mama Please to Sister Carrio Horn, and now her words and movement, God willing, will be spread across the country. I'll say this as the last thing about Drea, and let then her word and art speak for itself. Her last name is Denur, of the light, or through the light. Muslims, we have this tradition about fearing the insight of the believer. فقد فراسة المؤمن. Fear the insight, fear the way. Be mindful. Don't mess around with the believer that is deeply and sincerely rooted in tradition. فَيَنْظِرُوا بِنُورِ اللَّهِ, because they see through the light of God. They see through the light of divine. Drea, more than almost any artist I know, and I'm sure you will begin to feel the same here and across the world, communicates through the light of God. Give it up once again for Drea Denur.
I was born by the river. It will tend, just like the river. I've been running ever since, but it's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Said it's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's out there, beyond the sky, but it's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. See, I go to the movies and I go downtown. They keep saying, Drea, oh, don't hang around. But it's been a long time coming. But I know a change gonna come. Ooh, God, yes it will. Ooh, see, I go to my brother. And I say, brother, help me believe. And he winds up knocking me down. I know there's been times when I thought that I would last for long. Now we know we're able, we're able to carry on. 'Cause greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. I know a change. I know a change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will. I said yes it will. Oh, yes it will. I know a change. I know a change. I know a change. It's gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
It's really difficult to follow. Thank you so much. Wow, that's beautiful. Our next speaker is Dr. Khulud Daibes, who will speak on behalf of the Higher Presidential Committee for Church Affairs. This committee was formed by a presidential decree back in 2012, and it was the first time that an independent committee is established in Palestine to follow up on the affairs of churches and Christian places of worship, whether legal, institution, or real estate, promote the principle of full equality, and to build a state of equal citizenship for all Palestinians. Dr. Khulud is actually a close friend of Dar al-Kalima University. First, she was a dear colleague back in the 90s, and now is a member of its board of directors. She is also an architect, former politician, and a diplomat. Prior to becoming the ambassador of Palestine in Germany from 2013 to 2021, Dr. Daibes also served as a Minister of Tourism and Antiquities from 2007 until 2012, and as Minister of Women's Affairs from 2007 to 2012. Dr. Daibes currently has joined the Bethlehem Development Foundation as its CEO as of December 2021. Please help me welcome Dr. Daibes.
Thank you, Rena. Good evening, everyone. مساء الخير للجميع. Well, yes, I'm as member of the board of Dar al-Kalima University. I'm very proud to be here among you today. A success story, yes, we can. Assis Mitri is a very rare story in the Palestinian context. So, therefore, it's a very special occasion today to be here when we talk about 26th conference. Means we have managed to do 25, and we improve as long as we go. So that is quite a challenge. So yes, I'm very proud as ex-member of staff and current member of the board to be here. I'm honored also as Rana said, as member of the Presidential Committee for Churches Affairs, to represent tonight His Excellency Minister Dr. Ramzi Khouri, who is a member of the Executive Committee of the PLO and also President of the committee. I will be reading his speech in Arabic, but you will have the translation in English on the screen. So allow me now to switch into Arabic. دكتور القس متري الراهب رئيس جامعة دار الكلمة، الحضور الكريم مع حفظ الألقاب، نيابة عن عضو اللجنة التنفيذية لمنظمة التحرير رئيس اللجنة الرئاسية العليا لمتابعة شؤون كنائس في فلسطين، أنقل لكم تحيات فخامة السيد الرئيس محمود عباس رئيس دولة فلسطين وتحيات أعضاء اللجنة الرئاسية، ونرحب بكم في هذه الأرض المقدسة والتي نقلت رسالة السلام إلى العالم بميلاد السيد المسيح له المجد. الأخوات والإخوة، 75 عاماً من المعاناة يعيشها الشعب الفلسطيني منذ نكبة العام 1948 جراء احتلال غاشم وبغيض استباح فيها الحجر والبشر وانتهك حرمة مقدساتنا الإسلامية والمسيحية وسفك دماء أبناء شعبنا. 75 عاماً وما زال الشعب الفلسطيني يعاني من ظلم تاريخي وعلى مرأى من العالم الذي لا يحرك ساكناً لتطبيق العدالة ومنح الشعب الفلسطيني كافة حقوقه المشروعة والتي نصت عليها كافة المواثيق الدولية وقرارات الأمم المتحدة. وما زال قادة العالم يتبعون سياسة الكيل بمكيالين ولم يحاسبوا إسرائيل على جريمة واحدة اقترفها بحق الشعب الفلسطيني. الحضور الكريم، ننظر بأهمية بالغة لهذا المؤتمر والذي ينعقد للمرة 26 ويضم شخصيات من مختلف دول العالم ليعرض رواية الشعب الفلسطيني التي تحاول إسرائيل تشويهها وإخفاءها للتغطية على جرائمها وغطرستها وعنصريتها وفاشيتها. ولكن لا يخفى عليكم ما تتعرض له المدينة المقدسة من محاولات لتهويدها وتغيير الوضع التاريخي والجغرافي فيها، عدا عن ما تتعرض له الكنائس وممتلكاتها من قوانين جائرة ومحاولات للسيطرة عليها دون وجه حق، إضافة إلى ما يتعرض له رجال الدين من إهانات وشتائم من قبل المستوطنين في أزقة البلدة القديمة والعبارات التي يخطها المستوطنين على جدران الأديرة والكنائس دون أي رادع أو محاسبة. So I'm happy that Rami is among us today and talk about Jerusalem. So I think we're also very proud to have you here among us with all your friends who came from all over the world. السيدات والسادة، إن مدينة بيت لحم مدينة السلام مهد السيد المسيح له المجد أصبحت اليوم سجينة جدار فصل عنصري يفصلها عن توأمتها القدس، كما استولت إسرائيل على مساحات شاسعة من أراضيها ومن ممتلكات كنائسها لصالح جدار الفصل العنصري. وهذا ما يحدث في كريمزان وبيرعونة والمخرور وغيرها من المناطق المهددة أراضيها بالمصادرة. وإن إقامة مؤتمركم هذا في بيت لحم بشكل خاص له الأثر الكبير في قلوب أبنائنا ويضع بصيص من الأمل في قلوبهم بأن العالم ما زال يولي أهمية للشعب الفلسطيني وقضيته العادلة. أشكركم على حضوركم لفلسطين وأدعوكم لتكونوا صوت الحق في دولكم لوضع حد لكافة الممارسات الإسرائيلية بحق أبناء شعبنا، وأن تدعوا قادة دولكم ليكونوا شركاء حقيقيين في تطبيق العدالة ورفع الظلم والمعاناة عن الشعب الفلسطيني، والعمل الجاد للضغط في اتجاه إحلال السلام وإقامة الدولة الفلسطينية المستقلة على الحدود الرابع من حزيران 67. شعبنا يستحق أن يعيش بسلام وأن يكون له مستقبل وغد أفضل دون حواجز، دون قيود ودون احتلال. وبجهودكم وعملكم الدؤوب ستتحقق آمال الشعب الفلسطيني. أود أن أشكركم مرة أخرى لوجودكم في فلسطين وأدعوكم لتشجيع آخرين لزيارتها معا وسويا من أجل تحقيق الأمن والاستقرار والسلام ومن أجل مستقبل يليق بأبناء شعبنا. دكتور رمزي خوري. Thank you for your attention. I'm sure you will all have a very engaging conference if the beginning is so. Let's imagine how the 3 days will be. I'm sure it will be very enriching, and I look forward also to join you tomorrow in the opening session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. So, last but not least, and we cannot be a university for arts without finishing off with something really, really amazing. And it is, before we all proceed to reception, is a short excerpt of the longer and great performance by Layla Awadallah. Layla Awadallah is a Palestinian dancer born in the US. She is an artistic director, or the artistic director of Body Watani Dance Project, and choreographer of this performance called Yish. Yish is actually a made-up word that is created from 2 phrases. Yalla, I think many of you know that Yalla imshi, and Shway Shway Habibi. These are the first Arabic phrases Layla knew growing up, and the beginning of her journey to follow her roots in seeking relationship to homeland. Yish investigates the memories of Palestine held in the body in non-linear ways, stories, images, and movements gathered across time, life fragments, to create a portrait of loss, love, and enduring resistance. Layla.